we hope that at the end of this video, you can be able to decide on which aspect of agribusiness you want to go into. Mr. Boachi, you're welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so when we say agribusiness in general, what does it mean?
In general, agribusiness is combination of two words.
Okay.
You see, agribusiness, meaning that agriculture and business combine.
Okay.
And when you talk of agribusiness, a lot of people think of farming. Fine. Farming is a component of agribusiness, but farming alone cannot be the agribusiness. It's just a component.
Okay.
So agribusiness although is farming related, but it's not farming. So any agriculture activities that involve in farming in a commercial basis can be termed as what? Agribusiness.
Okay. So what are the agriculture activities that goes into agribusiness?
The components, farming is one component of agribusiness.
Okay.
You can talk of supply of inputs. When I say supply of inputs in agribusiness, when you pick farming or any component of agribusiness, it's input and output.
Okay.
So the supply of input is part of agribusiness.
Okay.
And also we have what is called value addition. Is also part of agribusiness.
Okay.
And also we have marketing and distribution is also part of agribusiness.
Okay.
We have entrepreneurship. It's also part of agribusiness.
All right.
We have microfinancing. It's also part of agribusiness.
Okay.
And a lot of storage, a lot of components that goes into agribusiness.
Okay. So give us a general idea about all those components.
Yeah, let's talk about farming.
Okay.
As it's first one and people know is agribusiness. When you talk of farming, farming is a component of agribusiness and it's very broad.
Okay.
Because in farming, when you break farming down, we have crop farming, we have animal farming. Have you seen?
Yeah.
And even in crop farming, we have short-term crops, we have medium-term crops, and we have long-term crops.
Okay.
So when you want to venture in agribusiness, let's say farming, then you ask yourself, do you want to go into short-term crops, or medium-term crops, or long-term crops?
Okay.
So when you talk of short-term crops, that's the crops, the maximum maturity is maybe 3 months. You can talk of vegetables, they are short-term crops. You can talk of cereals like maize, cowpea is also a short-term crop.
Okay.
Very good. Then you can talk of medium-term crops. Either you go into cassava, yam, or rice. That means 6 months, 4 to 6 months of 6 months to 1 year. That's the medium-term crops.
Okay.
And 5 years and over, that is the long-term crops. For that one too, you can talk about going into cashew, coconut, cocoa. As we want to talk of cash crop, cocoa, coffee, teak trees. Have you seen? That are the long-term crops.
Okay.
So farming has a lot of components under the agribusiness, which is also a component of agribusiness.
Okay.
So before you want to venture into agribusiness, you have to sit down and ask yourself a lot of questions. Where you can invest. It's not necessary that you can go into farming. I've mentioned farming and the component of farming, which is the short-term, medium, animal farming. Animal farming is also part of farming. And in animal farming, you can talk of poultry, rearing of goats, rearing of cattle, snail. Nowadays, snail. Have you seen? And nowadays we have traditional one. Yes, catch fish and traditional ones, mushroom production. They are all farming, component of farming and the agribusiness.
Okay. Now let's move to the second component. We talk about the inputs.
Yeah, the second component is the input supply. For the input supply, you see, agribusiness or agriculture is what is called value chain of agriculture.
Okay.
When you talk of value chain, agri is like a chain. If you want to go to farming, you need seed. After you get the seed, you have to sow the seed.
Okay.
When you sow the seed, after harvest, if you harvest, you have to sell. So it's a chain. So one of the chain is the input supply. Because if you want to go into agribusiness and you pick farming, by all means, as a farmer, you need inputs. And let's say after you have your land, you may need seed. Where are you going to get the seed? That is where the input suppliers or the agrochemical people or agro dealers come in. So they see to it that all the inputs that you are going to use in your farming or your agriculture is intact. Because as a starter, you cannot import. You have companies who import the seed or the inputs. And then the suppliers or the wholesalers also pick the input and open retail shops so that it can be nearer to the farmers.
Okay.
So they are the input suppliers. So in going into agribusiness, maybe you cannot go into farming, but you can choose to invest in the input supply. That is the agrochemical. That is, bro, you can supply seed, you can supply fertilizers, farm tools like cutlass, warranting boots, a lot of input that you can supply. So that's one component. After farming, that's the input supplies. And we have processes.
Okay.
Yes, agro processing is also
the next component.
Yes, agro processing is also part of agribusiness. When you talk of agro processing, it's very good and it's not like farming, although it's capital intensive. But agro processing is giving added value to the agri products. Let's say I've cultivated a lot of cassava. When I have a cassava, we have some people they are the agro processors. They will buy the cassava. They roast it, and process it into gari. That is agro processing. It's not cassava alone. Even now, cashew, they can process it into cashew nuts and other things. So even we are encouraging that the agro processing companies will be more, so that our agriculture produce can be processed in a such a way that we can even import to get a foreign exchange. Because when you pick crops like particularly the perishable ones, if there is no agro processing companies, if you have maybe a tomato processing companies and we produce a lot of tomatoes, you can process it in the canned tomatoes so that you can keep it for a long time. So agro processing is also very important in agribusiness and in agriculture environment. If we have the input suppliers, farmers are producing without agro processing, anytime it causes a lot of issue, because when you get a bumper harvest and the market is not good, you know, farming is all about demand or supply. How are you going to deal with the excess? But if there is a lot of agro processing company in the system, you can process it. Even fishery, when you come to fishery, when you go to when you go to Tema Harbor, you have some women, they buy the fish, fresh one, then they process it. Have you seen? They are all part of agro processing. And also we have value addition aspect of agribusiness. For value addition, you add value. Have you seen? It can be in a matter of packaging. Maybe you have a granite. You harvest a lot of granite. Somebody will buy the granite, fry it, and package it, and add value to it. Have you seen? That's a value added. But you have someone you use some simple machine to add value to the watermelon. Like nowadays, coconut. When you go to the market, you see we have some people coconut water. They just put it in a very plastic container that you can even carry it. They've added value. Entrepreneurship is also part of agribusiness. Yes, entrepreneurship in the sense that you can, as I said, you can be a marketer, or if you are a software engineer, you see, you can sit down and create a platform for farmers. There are a lot of jobs. You can create a farm, and even what you are doing like this is a part of entrepreneurship or is a part of business aspect. Yes, you can even choose to promote agric. You go to farms or you see what is going on in the villages and you just market it. It's also part of what? Agribusiness. So agribusiness is broad. And I say microfinancing. In microfinancing, we have some financial companies who always deal with the farmers. Yes, we have small microfinance. They organize farmers, give them some small soft loans. So when they harvest their produce, they pay back either in cash or in can. And it's helping the farmers, and it's very, very, very good. So agribusiness is broad.
What about the machinery?
Machinery equipment is also part. You can either import tractors or agriculture machinery, or you can even import this irrigation machinery materials. It's also part of agribusiness. And it's you can either choose as a marketing. It can be under marketing, and under marketing to the same component of agribusiness. You can choose to do marketing in agri sector. Either you are selling equipment or you are selling the products. We have some market women. They have also taken it as a business. They go to the villages or the farmers they buy it, then they add their profit to it, then they sell.
Okay.
And that marketing aspect too is broad. For that one, you can also choose like a warehousing. You big warehouse or silos. You will not produce, but when the farmers produce, you just go and buy at a cheaper cost, because at the first time of harvest, like cereal cost means when they harvest the first time, the price is good. You can buy and store it. So when the price increase, you can also sell.
You know, when you go to some farming communities,
yes,
we have some group of people or laborers that the main thing they do is to be weeding people's farm.
Yeah.
And then you pay them off and they go. Do we classify such people as or the work they do as a component of agribusiness?
They are all doing agribusiness, but that one will be under the benefits of agribusiness.
Okay.
Because there are a lot of benefits and importance of agribusiness.
Okay, so now let's look
at
some of the benefits.
It will be under the benefits.
Okay.
Because what they are doing is labor supply is very good. Yes, without such laborers, you cannot work. So their work is very important. And one component which is also important is agriculture extension.
Okay.
It's under agribusiness. You have a lot of extension officers who see to it that the farmers see what is called GAP. GAP means GAP means good agricultural practices. Yes, they have to show the farmers good agricultural practices. So it's also part of agribusiness. And when they talk of benefit, in fact, it cannot be mentioned. A lot of benefits, and we can group it in many groups. Economic benefits. Let's take Ghana, for example. Agriculture in Ghana contributes about 54% of our GDP. The gross domestic GDP, 54%, and it also contributes 40% of exports, our exports. And when you talk of workforce, agriculture needs our food almost 90%. So, for the economic benefit to the country, agribusiness or agriculture is number one.
Okay.
Because without agric, no country can survive. The next one is food security. Without food, no man can. You see, this fight between Ukraine and Russia, it affected a lot of countries. It's because of food.
Yeah.
Because if you control food, you control the world. In Ghana or Africa, we import a lot of food because we don't take agric as a business. But when we take our farming or our agribusiness or the farm agric value chain serious, the importation will come down, and also our currency will be stable. Okay. So food is very important, and it's one benefit of agribusiness or agriculture.
Okay, so you have been in farming for some time now.
Yeah.
Per your experience, do you see agribusiness to be lucrative or something that pays off when you invest your time and your money into it?
Agribusiness, as I said, is like all other business,
okay,
but this one is in agriculture business.
Yeah.
So if you pay your attention, you see, it's an investment. We have some people when they invest in currencies or any other diversification, they take business principle, the management aspect, control system, everything perfect. But when they invest in agribusiness, like maybe farming or any agribusiness, such practices are not being worked. Or when you go into agribusiness, if a lot of farmers don't keep records, so if you treat agric as a business, then you are going to benefit like any business at all. Although there are a lot of risk in agric, as all business there are a lot of. But if you invest in agribusiness, agriculture or farming in particular, I'm not sure you will lose your investment. Market too is at times is challenged, but when you come to serious market is not all that a challenge, because when you produce maize and the price is not good, you can choose to store or keep it for about 2, 3, 4 months, 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. So the major challenge that personally I've been facing is the post-harvest losses. And when you go to poultry industry, there are a lot of challenges. That is why nowadays a lot of our poultry system has collapsed, because how to get feed is a problem. And apart from feed, disease control and poultry too is also another challenge. So there are a lot of challenges in agribusiness, and all the challenges, I think you can solve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we go, as a beginner, I want to go into agribusiness. I want to go into agriculture.
Yeah.
What would be your recommendation?
Yeah, we say farming or agribusiness is a passion. Maybe your passion is go into animal farming. Then you sit down and choose which type of animal farming do you want to venture.
Yeah, okay.
For that, we do analysis so far as risks and challenges are concerned. And when you pick poultry, it's capital intensive. But when you go into maybe goats, sheep or turkey, for that one, depending on your capital, can also influence the decision. But if you want to go into farming too, the cereal crops is also good. So it depends on your passion, your capital, and before you go into agribusiness or farming, you ask about land too is very important. So all factors we put in place, and the first one is the capital. Then you talk about your land.
Okay.
Then other things.
Okay, so the passion should be the drive.
Yes.
Okay, but now let's say, for example, this is my passion. My passion is to go into crop farming or animal farming. Do I need to get any advice from an expert before I go into work? Because I have the passion, I can just start doing something, or I would need an expert advice.
That is why it's killing the agriculture industry in Ghana and Africa. When you go to Philippines and other European countries, before you enter into agri, you have agri consultants or agronomists that you have to meet. So when you want to go into farming or you want to venture into it, you need your business plan. It's very important.
Okay, so you cannot just stand up and say, today I'm going to maize farming.
No. You need a lot of information.
Yes.
If not, you fail.
You need to do the background work well, so that you can be able to succeed.
Even if you are not careful and you choose some location, the labor cost.
Yeah.
I have a friend, he's very interested in farming. The challenge is labor.
Okay.
How to get laborers to sow the maize is also another challenge.
Yes.
So it's very important.
I think
you
this
sit down.
reminds me. Somebody messaged me about the same thing. I think he's having the farm is around in Sawan, but getting laborers is the main challenge. Yeah. So in all those things need to be put in place. Look at where you can be able to get access to laborers as much as possible. If not, if you decide to just do it in the city like that, you are not getting people. Then you have to export and import.
Yeah.
You have to go to the villages and get some boys.
Now that is why we've taken it as our responsibility to do this agribusiness consultancy, so that if you want to go into agri, if you come, then where you want to venture, we just do the business plan and see which part or which component is going to help you.
All right. So if you have the passion to go into agriculture and you're still not certain of what to do, or the passion is there, the money is there, the money is there, everything is there, but you have not decided on what to do, or you have even decided, you can get in touch with Mr. Boachi. He'll be able to assist you on what to do. We'll be able to counsel you so that you will be able to make an informed decision. All right, so I'll be leaving Mr. Boachi's contact on the screen in the description section. If you have any question, get in touch with him. We'll be able to sort you. I'll have a question to let us know that in the comment section, so that in our next video we can be able to address that for you. Our land is still available for coconut farming, palm, maize, rice, and other things. So if you're also interested in going to farming, you don't have a land yet, you can get in touch with me. We'll take you through the process, simple process, and you'll be able to get your portion and start working. It's limited. Come early so that you can get yours. So the last question before we leave from John Bill, I want to know the numbers or the number of seeds per hole. I want to know the number of seeds per hole. That's with
under the okra. Okay. Okra 2, 1 or 2 like maize is good, because if you put 1 in a hole, and even your nitrogen level, or you don't have a lot of money, any amount of nitrogen that you put there can sustain the seed. But if you put 2 or 3 in a hole, if maybe one seed need 50 grams of maybe nitrogen, one is 2 or 3, it have to be 150 grams. If not, it cannot grow as you are expected. So for the seed, other means okra, any seed at all, 1 or 2. If the germination is 100%.
Okay, so what if you get 100% germination? Can you separate the 2 plants, or you can keep the 2 in the same location?
One plant, if the germination is good, 1 is good, but only that maybe the distance is that we are going to work about. You can increase the distance more.
Yeah. So like 2 per hole, and like you are saying, maybe you might not get 100% germination. That's why you have to put 2 in there. Yeah. But in a situation whereby the 2 seeds germinate, can you separate one from the other? Or
like transplanted, or you can keep the 2. Only that if the land is not good, if the land is not good, you have to increase the nutrients. Oh, okay. It's all about the nutrients. That's why we are suffering now, because if the land is not good and you need a lot of nutrients, if 1 per hole, maybe if you buy MPK 1 or 2 bars, you can cater for 1 acre. Okay. But if you put 2 or 3 in a hole, meaning that because it's a 2 or 3 plants, you have to increase the supply of the nutrients.
Okay.
And that one, maybe 1 or 2 bags cannot cater for the.
Okay. All right. So I hope your question have been answered. If you have any other question, let us know that in the comment section so that in the next video we can be able to address that for you. See you in the next video.